John, pronouns are he, him, from California, says that arguments for God are absolutely worthless. I have my reasons. You can't use my reasons. You need your own. Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, Matt. How are you doing? Hey, Jmike.
I'm all right.
How you doing, John?
Why on earth, if something were true, would you and I believe for different reasons if there were good reasons?
Why would we be? Because we all have individual experiences.
Yeah, but no, what I'm saying is that's not how sound reasoning works. If something is demonstrably true, then the evidence is available to all of us and applies to both of us. So like if smoking cigarettes increases your risk of cancer, the available evidence would be the reason to believe this. If you have a partner that loves you, the available evidence would be the reason to believe this. Why is God in a category where we can't use the same reasons?
Right, because it's not an evidence-based proposition.
So you're saying there is no evidence for God?
Well, it would be that as far as like the faith goes, right? The faith in God, it's something that's given by God. It's not.
No, I'm asking. I'm asking you if it's in. You said it's not an evidence-based proposition. So are you saying there is not evidence for God?
Well, I think there's evidence for a general revelation of God, certainly.
No.
Right.
Why? I don't know why this is so difficult, John. I'm asking you the easiest question. Are you saying are you saying there is no evidence for God?
I'm saying yes, there is evidence for theism.
Okay,
certainly.
If there is evidence for God, why is it that the evidence is not a justification for believing?
Well, I mean, believe in God and go to hell. I mean, so what is the value of that?
John, please try to answer the question you're being asked rather than going off on an irrelevant sermon. If in fact there is evidence for God, why is it not the case that belief is then warranted by that evidence?
Belief in theism is warranted by the evidence.
You just said that it was not. You just said that it was a faith-based position that doesn't require evidence. Yeah. And if there's evidence, and then you said there is evidence, and then now you're saying that the evidence is sufficient to warrant belief. So what's your actual position here, John? Do you think there is sufficient evidence? Hang on. Do you think there is sufficient evidence to warrant believing that a God exists?
Yes.
Then present that evidence and stop saying that you have your reasons and I would have mine. If there's evidence and you think the evidence is, I'm still talking, John. If there is in fact evidence and you think the evidence is sufficient to warrant accepting the proposition that a God exists, present that evidence.
Yeah, I'm not interested in someone being a theist. What I was trying to tell you
John keeps calling in every week and is just absolutely an epic failure on a regular basis. Today, John said that arguments are worthless, that it's a faith-based proposition that doesn't require evidence. And then when challenged, John thinks there is evidence and that the evidence is sufficient to warrant belief. And if that's the case, if there is evidence that is sufficient to warrant a belief, then faith has no purpose or use here. There's no reason or justification to believe something based on faith. Why would you do that if you have evidence? And John's not interested in justifying theists. So stop calling me, John.